Hello! Today I'm going to be doing a combined book review video of two YA contemporary books that I have read very recently. The first book I'm going to be talking about is Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon, and the second book I'm going to be talking about is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. If you're only interested in hearing my thoughts about The Unexpected Everything, I will leave the time in the description so you can skip to that section if you're not interested in hearing about Everything. So starting off with Everything Everything. This is a book that came out in 2015. It was pretty popular when it came out, and before it came out it got a lot of buzz because of BEA, and it is Nicola Yoon's first novel. This book follows the story of a girl named Madeline who has a very rare disease that basically means she's allergic to everything. She hasn't left her house in about 17 years because she's not allowed to go outside, and she hasn't had any kind of physical contact with another person aside from her mother and her nurse, because if she comes in contact with anything, it could kill her. At the beginning of the novel, a new family moves into the house next door to Madeline's, and she immediately becomes interested in this family, the dynamics of this family, and in particular the son of the family who is around her age. After a few days, she begins communicating with the boy next door via email and IM, and they form a friendship. That's really all I'm going to say about the plot, because that's really all you need to know. The rest of it is kind of you learn as you go, and I think that's the best way to read the book. So this wasn't a book that I was initially very interested in reading. I did hear a lot about it from people who read early copies, and then when it first came out, a lot of people were reading and loving it, and it just didn't seem like something that I would be all that interested in. But then my library had it on overdrive, and I was like, okay, I guess I could try it for free, and so I downloaded it and I read it on my breaks at work. It's a pretty quick read because the chapters are very short, and there's a lot of like illustrations and IM messages and stuff in it, and so that aspect of it I really enjoyed. To my surprise, I actually really enjoyed the story overall. I thought that the premise was very interesting. This girl who can't go outside because she is allergic to everything, and anything at any moment could kill her. It was really interesting reading about all the precautions that her mom had to take to keep her safe, and the day-to-day routine and all of the health checks that she had to go through. Her mom is a doctor, so she lives with a doctor and she can be taken care of very easily. There were some aspects of the story that I really liked, including the love interest. His name was Ollie, and he was just really funny, and I felt like he added a lot to the story. He was kind of one of those like quirky kind of characters, and I really liked his interactions with Madeline, and their IMs were really funny, and I just thought that like overall he made the story a lot better because he kind of was the fun part of the story. I did feel that at times Madeline could be a little whiny, but I guess that's understandable considering she spent her whole life inside and she hasn't ever had any kind of contact with anybody besides her mother. And so it's kind of understandable and forgivable because that's just the nature of that kind of character. Like I said, overall I really enjoyed the story, but I did have one major problem with it, and that was the end. I felt like there was this big kind of thing at the end that happened, and I almost felt like it was a little bit too cheap of an ending. I don't want to go into it because I don't want to spoil anybody that hasn't read it, but I just felt like the ending kind of invalidated the story overall, and I wasn't very happy with that. I thought that the author could have gone in a different direction, a much better direction, and it still could have been a really great book with just a less cliche ending, I guess is how I'm gonna put that. That is really all I have to say about Everything Everything. Overall, I really enjoyed it. It was a really cute, fun YA contemporary. A great start to my summer reading. The other book that I'm going to be talking about in this video is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I absolutely love Morgan Matson. This is probably one of my most anticipated reads of the year, if not my most anticipated read of the year. This book follows the story of a girl named Andy who is very much the type A personality character. She has everything in her life controlled. Her father is a congressman, and at the beginning of the novel he is involved in a scandal that causes him to have to take a step back from his job, and soon after she finds out that her internship has been revoked. So for the first time in like 5 years, she and her father are going to be spending 3 months under the same roof, and she's not looking forward to that. She gets a job walking dogs, and through her job she meets a boy named Clark who she finds out is a writer, and he is spending the summer in this house trying to write another book. So like I said, I'm a huge fan of Morgan Matson, and I was really looking forward to reading this book just because I've loved everything that she's written. Second Chance Summer is still one of my favorite books of all time, so I was just really anticipating this book. Unfortunately, it did let me down a little bit. I mean, the book is 500 pages long, and I felt like that was just a little bit too long. Not enough happens in the story for it to constitute 500 pages, and I got a little bit bored. Another huge problem I had with it was that it was very predictable. Like, I could see what Morgan Matson was setting the story up to do. It was like the formula for a YA contemporary novel. Like, you could see the writing on the wall, and when the big reveal happened, I was like, okay, well, I knew that was coming, so I wasn't surprised. And so I just got a little bit frustrated with the book because I felt like it was just way too generic, and there wasn't any of that special Morgan Matson charm that I found in Second Chance Summer and Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. I felt like Andy really wasn't that interesting of a main character. I thought that her friends were a lot more interesting, and I honestly would read a whole book just about Toby and Bree. Like, I felt like they were the most interesting characters in the whole book. I did like Clark as a love interest, but he's not my favorite of any of the Morgan Matson book love interests. So yeah, it was just a little bit of a letdown for me because I really wanted to like it, and I started and I thought this is gonna be so great, and then like halfway through I was like, this isn't gonna be as great as I thought it was gonna be, and so that was a little bit disappointing. The few things that I will say were positive about it were, one, the writing was obviously beautiful. I absolutely loved the parts where she and her friends were texting and one of her friends was only using emojis. Like, there are just emojis filling this book, and I thought those parts were really great. Another part that I really liked was the scavenger hunt part. I thought that was really interesting, and I liked seeing Andy's relationship with her father improve over the course of the novel. But other than that, I just feel like it wasn't Morgan Matson's best, and I wanted it so badly to be, but it just wasn't. So those are my thoughts on Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon and The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. If you have read these books and you have similar or differing opinions than mine, I would love to know down in the comments. Please let me know what you thought about these books. But if you're going to be posting about spoilers, just make sure you give a good warning. I don't want anybody to be spoiled because of the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!